right, everybody, happy Wednesday. Welcome into Fresh Takes with Russo and Felice. Paul Russo here, Nick Felice with us as always. Nick, happy Wednesday. I know a little bit early, but it's sectional time. You're a busy fellow. You're chasing the teams everywhere that you possibly can, so we muffed it up a little bit to help you out a little bit today, but that's pretty all right with your exemplary work. So. How are things? I've seen you pretty consistently this past week, actually. It's been a rarity the way the past month has gone for me, but it's always good seeing you anyway. But how's the week been so far for you?
I mean, these weeks fly by. I feel like I was just here. Was it
Yeah.
last Wednesday?
This time of year, yeah.
Yeah, it just feels like they fly by. Next thing you know, it'll be next Wednesday already. But, I'm doing good. Going to Newark tonight for Minders boys soccer.
Mm-hmm.
Girls just moved on to the finals yesterday.
Let's preface it with this. If you're out there and you have a better answer for this than us, because we had to do a quick research minute, because look, we both you do more of the in-depth coverage. We provide scoring and everything, and obviously the broadcasting arm of things every now and then. And something that popped up for us that we just discussed is if anybody has an answer to this question, we greatly appreciate it. Are Bishop Kearny and Chesterton the same thing?
Yeah, you were really diving in before the show here. I think it's a school inside of the school. It's kind of like, Minders Academy Middle School. They're the same thing. Maybe that's it. Maybe Chesterton Academy is just inside of Bishop Kearny. So, because, if you type in Minders Seneca Falls Middle School, it's the same place. So
They have different addresses, though, for that.
Really?
Yeah. One's 95 and one's 105, I think. Yeah.
There's 6 houses in between there.
Well, plot-wise.
But yeah, I think it's this. I don't know what's going on there, but same soccer team though. That's all that matters.
True as always.
I didn't even know where Bishop Kearny was until you just told me. But
Kings Road up in Kuwait. So happy to assist. Hey, speaking of happy and to assist, let's handle some podcast business really quick, shall we? Beginning with Dr. Jeffrey Halstead, DMD. Dr. Jeffrey Halstead has been Canada's hometown dentist for more than 35 years, offering routine dental care as well as cosmetic dentistry, implants, and dentures by their highly trained and experienced staff. You can visit them online at canadawathdentistry.com or find them on Facebook and Instagram. And Finger Lakes Partners Insurance. Get the insurance you need from the people you know at Finger Lakes Partners Insurance, the Finger Lakes Insurance Agency for your home, auto, or business. Get a no-obligation quote today at fingerlakesinsurance.com. So, let's jump into the NFL, Nick.
a lot of buys.
Yeah, last week we had the most buys so far. 6 teams on a bye, which, not to give anything too much away later on, but it's a full slate of games this week. No buys this week.
Interesting.
Which is kind of weird when you look at it, but that's why we're here and not handling the schedule-making process. Anyway, I don't want to say it was a quiet week in the NFL because there's still some storylines that end up popping up that we'll get into, but I thought it was, comparatively speaking, to say a couple other weeks we've had so far, kind of a ho-hum week of football almost in a way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There wasn't anything.
Last week was exciting.
Yeah.
And then this week was just, kind of predictable.
Sort of, yeah.
Other than maybe the Bills. Where the Patriots come from. That was a terrible loss.
Yeah.
The Bills are hurting on defense, really bad.
I didn't even think,
The Patriots looked like a totally different team.
Right. I don't want to. Look, the defense to me for the Bills is fine. I know they're banged up, and I know a lot of people want to point the finger to that for this past week, but, again, the offense just didn't get going, at all for a good part of that game, and I know a lot of the stuff we've been beating in, right, but, we're through week 7, right, approaching week 8. To be fair, you get to the end of next week, we're halfway through the year, halfway through the season, and if you were to tell me back when we did our preview show at the end of August, beginning of September, that we would be having a lot of question marks surrounding the Bills, I probably would have laughed at you because I would have been like, yeah, but not anything different than any normal year. But this has not been a normal year for them.
No.
And I brought up a couple different times on a couple different podcasts and stuff like that. This is a crossroads year for the Bills, and I think they're at a crossroad that maybe even I didn't anticipate them being at. I had concerns about Sean McDermott. I don't think my concerns are lying within Sean McDermott anymore. I think a lot of this now comes down to, and I know what some people might think, but roster construction and stuff like that, is Billy Beane the one at the crossroad? I think we know where Ken Dorsey probably lies in all of this as well. But I go back to this point, I think it kind of gets forgotten about. Like, Ken Dorsey probably does have to go at this point. I'm not going to deny that. But life would be easier if you just had that outright defensive coordinator, because that way you fire Dorsey and McDermott could probably just handle the play calling duties for the rest of the year, no problem. But he's doing that on defense. Offensively, they have Joe Brady at quarterback coach, who offensive coordinator in the past, but didn't end great in Carolina, has ties with, you want to go through like Baylor to the Dolphins to obviously Carolina and a couple places in between. You see the right answer maybe for the rest of the season, but I don't know about long term. It's one of those things where the Bills, look, they're on a short week this week. We'll get into probably a little bit more of this when we do the picks here in a few minutes. But it's a short week against a Tampa Bay team who, as I call it, is at least plucky enough that will cause them enough headaches.
Where's the game?
It's in Buffalo, but it's supposed to be nice. I think part of it, that kind of cancels out a little bit to a degree. If this was maybe a more traditional October week in Western New York, I think the edge would obviously be Bill's slam dunk all day. And I still think it's probably Bill's slam dunk all day, but I don't think it's going to be easy for him. That's for sure.
No, I think it's interesting that they do have a short week, because it's actually kind of a good thing. Just as much as you want to look at the tape and look at what went wrong in that Patriots game, it's just quick. This could be a quick bounce back. Forget about what happened there. Forget about that terrible game at New England. And if they can come back 4 days later and beat Tampa Bay tomorrow night, I think people will just move on. The Dolphins, luckily for the Bills, the Dolphins lost on Sunday night.
Right.
The Jets, are there, but it's still a division that is there for the taking, and
right.
It's going to come down. I mean, if they get that head-to-head tiebreaker over Miami, they could still win this division. Yeah. A division that was looked at supposed to be really tough this year, but I don't know. They've had some struggles, but it could be a lot worse. I mean, they could have lost the Giants game. I mean, they'd be under 500 right now at 3-4. So, I mean, it could be a lot worse.
Right. Speaking of a lot worse, the Bears went out and, they made the Raiders look bad.
Shout out Ryan Poles.
Really bad. Canandaigua. Proud of Canandaigua. And the quarterback there, Bagnet, I don't even know how to pronounce his name right. Some Division II quarterback.
Yeah, that was strange. Yeah. But cool story, though. I think it gives, because there's a lot of Division I quarterbacks who don't even come close to the NFL. Right. So for a Division II guy to make it, that's pretty cool. At quarterback?
Yeah. Fun fact, Brian Hoyer, winless as a starter in the NFL.
He's never won?
I think he's 0-12 now or something like that, 0-13.
I know Deshaun Kaiser was
crazy.
Deshaun Kaiser was winless too.
It's a little bit different.
I don't think he ever won either. He got a lot of starts there for the Browns too. But wow, I didn't realize Hoyer was winless.
Yeah. And then your Giants, Nick, defeated my Commanders. Tyrod Taylor becomes, and this stat's kind of nuts to me as well. In addition to that, do you know Tyrod Taylor became the first black quarterback to win a game for the Giants in their 100-year history?
Really?
Or near 100-year history?
I'm just
crazy.
They haven't really had too many.
Right. I think he's one of only 2 or 3 starting black quarterbacks they've ever had, someone small.
Isn't Jordan Love the first on Green Bay?
Yes.
Ever to play?
Yes. Yeah.
Wow. That's a big deal. But I'm not jumping on the Tyrod. Let's boot Daniel Jones
you are one of what I would call a vocal minority on that train. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm a big Tyrod guy. right?
But we know what Tyrod is.
Right. I mean, the Daniel Jones slander all of a sudden again makes me laugh. Like, I don't know. There's a lot of stuff I think kind of behind the scenes that we probably aren't really seeing that might be a little bit different, but you are dead nuts if you think when Daniel Jones gets 100% healthy that he's not playing again. You are dead nuts, people.
And some of his better games in his career have come against Washington.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
not saying I'm saying he could have done the same thing what he did out there. It's not like Tyrod killed it. 14-7.
Right.
The defense is what's stepped up for the Giants of
Right.
late. Their defense is playing a lot better, and it's keeping their offense like a shot to win these games. And they could have won, like I said, Buffalo last week. I don't know. They're playing better.
It kind of goes back to my theory about them that like this is a good team. I don't know what went wrong just at the start there, but it's a good team. Like their piece is there, you know.
And it's probably a 7th wild card spot in the NFC that won't be a great record.
No, I mean, it's something that going into the week Washington was in possession of even.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
I think there's a spot there
Yeah.
for a team to start off really bad for someone to take it.
Yeah.
Maybe that could be us.
You never know. Justin Herbert officially below 500 as a starting quarterback. We both picked Kansas City there, so I don't think there's a ton to really unpack. I mean, that was kind of, I guess, expected would be the right
Kansas City's
term, right?
bounced back pretty nice since that opening night loss. Not surprising.
And I mean, they're on the road at Denver this week, so that kind of makes it maybe slightly treacherous, but, like, again, like.
Patrick Mahomes
Yeah.
he's the best. He has no receivers. And the fact that he still puts up numbers, like, he had a great, what do you have?
But Nick, come on, dude. Mecole Hardman.
He had like 300 yards in the first half last week. He's the best.
Yeah.
He's lucky he has Kelsey. I mean, that is a receiver, too.
Right.
But his wide receivers, man.
Yeah.
Dreadful.
Very, very hit and miss.
Yeah.
The 49ers lost on Monday night to Kirk
Yeah.
Cousins. What on earth? But some of the stuff I brought up, preseason about, like, don't get me wrong, Brock Purdy's looked good, but, like, all of a sudden the past couple weeks. And here's an interesting one. Like, somebody I saw brought up the fact, like, oh, he has, like, the 4th fewest turnovers in the NFL still at quarterback this year or something like that. But he also has the 4th highest, like, rate of risk or something like that they call it, where it's like he's putting the ball in these, like, more or less 50-50 or worse shots for the 49ers to convert on. And, like, you can say what you want about it, and I think I'd allow it, but the fact of the matter is, like, there's clearly a value perception point, right, where the past couple weeks it's caught up to him, right, the probability of it. And that's, like, again, like I said, maybe Trey Lance wasn't the answer. I'm not going to disagree with that. But the fact the 49ers were so willing to let Garoppolo go makes me, again, I kind of go back to, like, don't get me wrong, like, I get it with Brock Purdy, like, like, last year especially, you ride the hot hand. It's just the way it is. This time around, concerned I was, and I was proved wrong maybe the first few weeks. Past couple weeks, though, some of the people that were hyping him up are, like, now wondering what's up. I'm like, this is what a lot of us were trying to warn you about. He's a 7th-round pick for a reason. I don't like phrasing it like that, but, like, again, this might go back to maybe just me being a college football person as well. But, like, I look back at some of the stuff he did at Iowa State, I'm like, it doesn't take much to kind of see, like, a lot of stuff translated what he was doing there is translating to what's going on the past couple weeks,
I mean, I think the biggest storyline of that Monday night game was definitely your fantasy football team.
Jordan Addison.
Beating me with Jordan Addison. But the Niners are just like, once again, I think it's a quarterback problem. I think they're.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not. I should rephrase what I said.
It's not
a
problem, but it's a predicament of sort.
It's the reason they're probably not going to win a Super Bowl again this year. It's because of the quarterback position. If they have a great team, they're just one above, like, not even like above average, because I think Purdy could be above average. It's just one great quarterback, not elite, just a great quarterback away from winning a Super Bowl. Like throw in
Tyrod.
no, not Tyrod. Throw in. Let me just think of like a Justin Herbert. You throw in him in that situation. I mean, even though he has great weapons there in Chargers, but the Niners they're just all around great. I think if you throw Justin Herbert in that situation, throw maybe Deshaun Watson, throw maybe even a Dak Prescott, maybe give Dak Prescott like a great team like that. I don't know. I think they'd win the Super Bowl. I just don't know if Brock Purdy's the guy. And I like Brock Purdy, and I knew this at the beginning of the year. They're just probably 1 or 2 wins away from a Super Bowl, and they're not going to do that with him as the quarterback.
Right.
Well, Christian McCaffrey needs to stay healthy too, though. They're not going anywhere without him.
Right. Sure. Yeah. Now that's kind of rare and gets said a little bit again.
Debo.
So
And Debo's been out, so that's huge.
yeah. So yeah. Either way, Detroit got smoked.
Yeah, it was shocking. That was the most shocking thing I think of the whole week.
Was it? Yeah, probably. Yeah. Not the Dolphins on Sunday.
Weekly question I got to ask you, Paul: are the Steelers good?
Do I have to eat my words a little bit from last week?
4-2 they are now.
I don't know if they're good in like the sense of like Super Bowl contender good, but like they've entered. You gotta at least recognize right now they've entered the territory where it's like you have to consider them for a deep playoff run.
And now our weekly question we got to ask ourselves: are the Falcons good?
Yeah.
Are they 4 wins now? 4 wins they got.
4, yeah.
How? I think
don't
they're
know.
terrible.
I don't know. They didn't even the Bijan actually. No, this is actually the most interesting thing from the football weekend because you had fantasy people upset, you had gamblers upset, you just had football fans upset, you had a lot of people questioning the Bijan Robinson situation this past weekend.
He was sick, wasn't he?
Well, that's what we were told, but even then, if he's sick, you have to pull him as an injury designation if there's even a chance he doesn't play.
Yeah.
And the Falcons didn't do that. I think he played like 1 snap or something like that. Or maybe not quite like that, but like something ridiculously low. Like he only saw single-digit snaps, and it was all in the first quarter, and that was it. I don't know.
You have them, don't you?
Maybe that speaks to the grander scheme of the Falcons of just like, I don't know. It's just working. I don't know.
They go to the Super Bowl. I don't know how they got there.
I don't think Arthur Smith would know how he got there.
Did you know he's the son of the owner of FedEx?
Yep.
Never knew that.
Yep. How about that?
He's got money.
That's your how do we tie this in a nice circle? He has money.
Does he really need the NFL coaching money?
Some people like football, man. He's a football guy.
Yeah, but definitely kind of dull without the Cowboys. I know that's what you wanted to ask me.
No.
It's kind of dull without the
No,
Cowboys.
it's not.
Um,
Let them enjoy going to the Rangers games.
I thought that Thursday night game last week was pretty exciting. Back and forth. Jaguars pulled it out.
Yeah.
Saints. Derek Carr loses again. There's a surprise.
Chris Olave.
Yeah, Chris Olave. He's quick.
You know he's on the Saints, right?
Yeah, I did.
And?
And I did hear about that story. Yep.
It's a tremendous video. Have you seen it?
I have not seen the video.
I'll show you it after.
What is a police video?
Yeah, he's in handcuffs already, and the guy's like, and he's like to the police officer, like, you really arrested me? He goes, yeah. He goes, oh, man, you know I play for the Saints, and the cop just goes, and? I'm like, damn. You know you messed up when it's just like, and?
Yeah.
It's like when your girlfriend or whatever does that to you. It's like, and? I'm like, shit.
These guys. But, yeah, definitely.
Free Derek Carr.
I think it's, I think this was definitely the most boring week of this entire season.
I mean, those happen from time to time.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, it's there. The football was played. Nobody.
How did we do on the predictions, by the way?
Yeah, so let's. You want to jump into that?
Yeah.
All right. So Nick, you have a 4-game lead. You had 4 better than me.
We tied, or you took the lead, right?
You did. We tied.
No, last week.
We tied.
Tied.
So I went 5-8 last week. You went 9-4.
Jesus, what happened to you?
I don't know. A lot of bad juju going on there. So, yeah, we have the 66-40 Nick Felice picks against the 62-44 my picks. So you have a 4-game lead again there.
Nice.
So
I
Thursday,
think I picked Washington too.
we both did. Can't confirm. All right, so our first game of the show here is Thursday Night Football. The aforementioned Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Buffalo Bills. Bills sitting as a 8.5-point favorite right now.
I need Mike Evans, but I got the Bills.
Yeah. This is interesting. Do I think, obviously, right, we pick heads up here. I'm picking the Bills as well, but I don't think they cover the 8.5.
8.5.
Yeah. I don't think they cover.
I don't think so either. Their offense
Yeah.
has not shown me that they
Right.
can cover that many
Yeah.
points.
So I don't think that's the case there.
But I wouldn't be surprised if they break out. Like, this is the game.
I mean, yeah. I mean,
Frustrated.
it's the game that I expected them to play this past Sunday against the Patriots tomorrow. Yeah. All right, so Sunday, 1 p.m. begins with Houston at Carolina. Carolina, 3-point dog at home.
Wow.
Can I go first on this one? Houston. I mean,
Why?
really?
Paul?
Going early on the Y on this.
Yeah. We'll get it out of the way.
So we've had a play calling switch. Obviously, it was a bye week for Carolina, but Houston's an interesting team, also off a bye week. So I'm gonna go Houston.
I don't know who the Panthers quarterback is. It still is Bryce Young playing?
That's a good question. I haven't seen anything.
I have no good reason why I'm picking the Panthers, the winless Panthers, but I feel like the Texans making that trip to Carolina is gonna lose this game. And I think Adam Thielen's playing well.
Okay.
I think Miles Sanders might have a good game.
If he plays.
Frank Wright has to show something as a head coach because he has not won very many football games lately.
So you're going Carolina, right?
I think Carolina's going to get the upset here.
Okay. We have the Rams at the Cowboys. Cowboys a 6.5-point favorite.
I like the Rams, but I like the Cowboys in this game. But I like the Rams overall. I'm taking the Cowboys.
I guess I'll zig here. I'm going to take the Rams, actually. I think they bounce back. That's, for more or less being a de facto touchdown favorite, that's a lot for Dallas to cover in this game.
I think they might cover.
In my mind. Really? You do?
The Rams.
Oh, you're saying the Rams.
Yeah, I think the Rams might cover, but I think Dallas won the game.
Yeah, I'm going to go Rams straight up on it. I personally just think, I don't know.
The Rams
does Dallas really, thrill you?
No.
Okay.
Rams are, interesting. They have, Puka, who I love, and Cooper, Cup, but they don't win much.
I suppose. Hey, speaking of not winning much, Nick, Minnesota at Green Bay. Green Bay, a 1.5-point dog at home.
I think Minnesota's starting to figure it out. I don't know if they're going to catch Detroit, but Green Bay's just really young, so I'm going Minnesota.
I'm going Minnesota as well. Nice momentum builder, obviously, Monday night. But, Green Bay's... That's an interesting mess going on in Green Bay right now.
Minnesota is a playoff team.
Yeah. They just got out of the gate bad. New Orleans at Indianapolis. Indianapolis, a 1-point favorite.
Who's the quarterback? Minshew?
Minshew.
I like New Orleans.
I don't... Here's my thing with them at this point. They're probably the one of 2 or 3 teams I've consistently picked all year because it's they're just on paper better than them. And that's the case with the Colts, but last weekend, I mean, it's a little bit different. We both took Jacksonville last Thursday. I think that was the one time where I was like, yeah, Jacksonville's the one team on paper in that situation, but I think I have to steer clear of them this week. I think this might just be kind of for me picking them wise, just the prove it week, and if they go out there and obviously win and give you the win, then so be it, but I'm going to go Indianapolis here. I feel like their background stuff going on is more football related than non-football related, obviously. So I'm just going to and roll with that. So,
I mean, it's a toss-up game.
Yeah.
Sure.
yeah. New England at Miami. Miami a 9.5-point favorite.
Oh. I like Miami to bounce back. I don't know if they're going to cover that, but
It'd be the most Patriots thing this year if they were to go down there and only score like 3 points.
sure they struggle. They always struggle down there.
Yeah, so I'm going Miami too. I don't know if they'll cover. I'm kind of with you there. 9.5's a bit much maybe, but I think overall in the grand scheme of bouncing back, they get it done.
Yeah.
The game of the week, right here, the Jets at the Giants.
Whoa.
Giants a 3-point dog at home.
At home.
At home.
Season ticket holders will be there.
I know. How does that work? I wonder for that game.
It's just got to be. Jet season ticket holders have to buy their own tickets.
Sure.
It's basically Giants season ticket holders for the game.
Okay.
So, and everything else is Giants. Of course, I'm going Giants. Going Giants in this game.
Going the G-men. Part of me does want to ride with you on that.
But the other part is picking the Jets.
The main issue is the Giants have the momentum. The Jets, on the other hand,
Aaron Rodgers is limping.
the defense. We went over this last week. He's just throwing. Jesus, people need to calm down.
He's limping. Gotta gain some games, man.
Do you think?
I think this is an
You
opportunity.
know what? I'm riding with you. I'm gonna take the
He
Giants.
could have gained a game there.
I'm gonna take the
was
Giants.
giving it.
Hey, speaking of getting a game back, Jacksonville at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh getting 2.5 at home.
Oh yeah, you're not. You can think all you want. You ain't getting this one. I'm taking Pittsburgh, and you're not getting this game here. I know you're taking Jacksonville. Just say it.
No, I'm not. I'm taking Pittsburgh.
Ooh,
On the road. On the road. Sunday is supposed to be up here, Northeast collectively. The turn day of the weather where it starts returning to fall. A little bit wet, a little bit colder. Don't think the Florida boys are going to be able to hold on
Florida.
tight for that one.
London.
Apologies. I'm going to take Pittsburgh. I am.
Pittsburgh. You're riding 5-2.
You, everybody's got me on that one. So, the other game of the week here, as we're still in the 1 o'clock window, by the way, since there's no bye weeks.
That's right.
Atlanta at Tennessee. Tennessee is getting 2.5 at home. Now, preface it with this, for those who may not know, Will Levis is being more than likely the starting quarterback this week for the Titans.
They cannot win this week. The Falcons. They're not a 5-win.
Physically, they can't.
They're not a 5-win team after 8 weeks. They're just not. Going Tennessee, I think Derrick Henry's going to have a good game. In Nashville.
I don't think I can. I don't. Oh, God damn it! I hate Desmond Ridder. If Tannehill was playing, I feel like my decision would just be way easier, right?
They still got that Malik Smith.
Malik Willis.
Willis.
Yeah.
Is he playing?
Technically, they do, but no.
He's not playing.
Will Levis is the starter apparently this week. I hate to ride with you here again because I need to make up some ground.
You got plenty of time.
I'm with you. The Atlanta thing does not make any sense on paper to me right now. It just does not. So I'll go there. Philly at Washington. Washington is getting 6.5 at home. I'm taking Philly.
I'm unfortunately taking Philly too.
Although,
Sam Howell let me down last week.
and you know this because of just the way this division works, it'd be the most Washington thing for them to go out and beat Philly by 7.
They always play them,
Outright.
Always play them tough though.
Yeah. So, hey, good news. We're out the early window.
Finally, Jesus, how did
Our 1-4-05 game.
it's gonna be a busy red zone?
Our 1-4-05 game. The Browns at the Seahawks. Browns going to be without Deshaun Watson this week again. They're out with no Jerome Ford either.
Ugh.
Seahawks are 3.5-point favorites at home. I'm going Seattle, by the way, here. I'm just going to cut you off. There's just too much, I think, offensively lacking now for the Browns to
You didn't cut me off.
make up.
I didn't
Now,
speak yet.
to be fair, this could be one of those games I could foresee kind of playing out, being just how like the Browns have nobody on offense, but their defense is obviously best in the NFL. I could see this game being something like 10-3, and I wouldn't be surprised as like a final. But I'm going to go Seattle here. I think you got to.
I'll probably play Kareem Hunt this week then. But I'm going to go Seattle in this game.
Alrighty. Baltimore at Arizona, the beginning of the 425 window.
Is Kyler Murray back?
Baltimore is favored by 8.5.
Kyler Murray back?
I haven't had any word on that one yet.
I'll have to hop on PlayStation with him and find out. I'd go Baltimore.
Yeah.
They're very boring, though.
I'm with you on that one. Odell's playing for Baltimore.
That's exciting.
Kansas City at Denver. Denver getting 7.5 at home. Kansas City. I mean, Denver gets a win last week again. Quoted as saying Sean Payton afterwards, like how it's like, I'm supposed to be. How come I can't be happy? Like that should tell you all you need to know about this process.
Hasn't Denver lost 20 in a row? Something against Kansas City?
I don't know.
Something crazy. So I'm going Kansas City.
Okay. The last of the Sunday games in the daylight, Cincinnati at San Fran. San Fran 5.5-point favorites.
Wow, that's a good game right here.
Is it?
Yeah, I agree. Or I defend my statement.
Just say you're taking San Fran.
Going Cincinnati.
Wow, really?
San Fran's, are they healthy? Is Debo playing?
It's a fair point.
Birdie gonna be all right?
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a little bit more problems here than they thought. So I think Cincinnati's gonna start getting on a roll here. I'm gonna think this is gonna be a big win for them.
Can't do it yet. I can't do it yet. Gotta take San Fran. You know, if Cincinnati goes out there and handles business and does get a win, probably looking at a different outlook for those guys the rest of the way, for sure. But yeah, until I see that, I just don't think I can get on that wagon yet. Just don't think I can. Sunday night football this week. Buckle up. The Bears at the Chargers. Chargers are an 8.5-point favorite at home. Give me the Chargers.
Why are the Chargers? I'm pretty sure the Chargers are on Monday night next week.
Oh boy.
Why are they on primetime so much? What have they done? What has Justin Herbert done? That kid's playing for the Bears still?
As far as I know.
Yeah, Chargers going to win this game.
And then lastly, Nick, on Monday Night Football, the Raiders at your Detroit Lions. The Lions, 8-point favorites.
Yeah, I think the Lions will bounce back.
Yeah.
Raiders are the Raiders.
Yeah, I mean, it's more than likely they'd probably go be Aiden O'Connell, right? I mean,
Great city, though. Las Vegas.
never been. So there's our picks for the week there. Let's transition over to college football for a few minutes.
No Notre Dame or Syracuse last week.
Yeah, we're both on the Idol, which is nice. But who does Notre Dame have this week? I didn't see.
Pittsburgh?
Oh, gosh. Ugh.
Yeah, should kill them.
Yeah. Syracuse is at Virginia Tech Thursday night, tomorrow night.
Yeah, tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Interesting. You going?
I wish. I do want to go to Blacksburg. That's such a
Virginia.
cool. Yeah, it's such a cool experience. The games down there. I want to go one of these times. So, yeah, not much I guess to report back on collectively with our teams then. But it was a overall quiet week again in college football type thing. Really, I guess the main quote unquote upsets were like Utah beat USC, but I think the bigger story there is kind of not so much the upset as maybe just getting confirmation about what we now know what USC probably is type thing, right? That's a really good Utah team, but without Cam Rising for the year officially now. So it's kind of like a zombie Utes team that I expect we'll probably see in the Pac-12 title game because that's just the way Kyle Whittingham coaches and that team plays. So
Penn State lost.
Yeah.
They look terrible.
Kind of expected that, though.
Big Ten sucks.
I'm getting I'm trying to gauge them, right, in, like, look, let's just jump into it now. Like, we get news over the weekend about Michigan sign-stealing scandal, and now it's evolved out to be a really, I kind of laugh at the people who are, like, throwing up as a nonchalant thing, but it goes so deep that, like, it can't be nonchalant.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You know, the fact that you have this staffer who was just going out and buying tickets to these games for whether it was himself or somebody else to just go and just do nothing but look at coaches and play calls and intercept them, you know, is a bit almost I'd venture on the borderline of it being worse than the Astros type thing.
Really?
But yeah, there's stuff today that came out too that I'm not fully up on, so I don't feel comfortable
it happen?
talking about past few years collectively. I mean, it was happening at the start of this year. So, yeah, I mean, the one team I thought maybe in the Big Ten that actually was just going to be good was Michigan, and now I don't know what this future is going to kind of hold for them the rest of the way. I don't think there's anything you can technically do to them this season, right? But that's going to be quite the distraction, especially for Harbaugh, who, I mean, he had headlines surrounding him anyway, right? Missed the first 3 games of the year due to suspension for recruiting violations, just do the blanket statement on it. Bad enough, quote unquote, that the rumors about him going back to the NFL have just been circulating like crazy anyway. And now you got this. I don't know what the hell's going on in Ann Arbor, but we went from me at the start of the year being really confident the Big Ten was going to have 2 teams in the college football playoff, now down to 1, and now we're at a point where, personally speaking, I wouldn't be surprised if they have none. I mean, my doubts about Ohio State were kind of, I think, solidified against Penn State. We know Penn State obviously has probably missed their boat. And I frankly, when Michigan and Ohio State end up playing each other here in a few weeks, that's a toss-up game for me now. Like, it's just, I don't know one way or another how that one's going to play out. And the Big Ten West is the Big Ten West. So, sorry, Big Ten. I don't know anymore, but it's not great.
You're disappointed by the Big Ten.
Really?
You're disappointed.
Yeah. Well, I'm disappointed, yeah.
Well, it's expected. The Big Ten is so overrated in both basketball and football. But, yeah. It's just not good when it's just Ohio State, Michigan every year. It's like these games Michigan are playing. 47-0, 49-10. I don't know what these scores are, but they're blowing teams out.
But what about 12-10?
They're just blowing teams out, and it's terrible. And when they come and play an actual real team, like Ohio State or an SEC team, or any team in the college football playoff, they don't win. They couldn't beat TCU last year. I'm not going to buy what's going on in Michigan, and that might be a distraction with the cheating scandal, but I'm not going to buy any win Michigan does until they beat someone actually, not even Ohio State. Beat someone, actually do something, make a college football championship game, and that maybe I'll be on board. But right now, cool. They beat this week. Indiana.
Yeah,
good for you. Good for them. Not a big Ten fan. ACC.
No, Michigan State.
No.
It was Michigan State, because Michigan State also had the trivia question gone wrong situation that occurred, which I don't know who I need to tell this to, but the fact if you're not vetting that thing in the first place, boy.
Yeah.
You want to talk about a team on quit watch?
I'm always ACC all day.
Wow.
Here's what I'll say.
Wait.
Here's what I'll say about the 2 conferences. They're both not great at football.
Okay.
They're both not.
I didn't know which way you were going on this one, so.
But I don't like that they think the ACC is trash, and they look at the Big Ten like it's this great conference. Because it's not. They're the same.
Could I interest you in the Fun Belt?
Maybe there are more quality teams in that conference.
James Madison, baby.
I just don't get it. I think the ACC is probably the same as the Big Ten. And you look at a lot of people's eyes, they don't say that at all. They think the Big Ten's like one step below the SEC, and that's just not true. It's really not true. Not even close. Oh, you know what? I'm on a roll here, so I'll just say ACC's better than the Big Ten.
Wow.
Don't know how much I mean by that, but
yeah, I don't know how much you should go that far either. I think they're pretty on par with each other at this point.
At least let's get on par.
Yeah, I think it's on par. I don't know if one's unequivocally better than the other.
They're very similar. ACC, it's either been Florida State or Clemson, and the Big Ten has either been Ohio State or Michigan.
You mean not Miami?
No. Did beat Clemson, though. That was
Yeah.
finally beat them. But at least the SEC goes from, like, 4 to 5 different teams.
Right.
I mean, you're not seeing Arkansas going out there with the championship.
Oof. You want to talk about a team that's on quit watch? All of a sudden, oh boy, the Razorbacks are bad.
And usually the Pac-12 is like even below the SEC and the ACC and the Big Ten. This year they're up there, so
Yeah.
And it's the last year of them.
R.I.P.
The Big 12 is just there.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of just there, should I give my picks?
Yeah, let's hear them.
Okay. So 2-3 last week.
Mm-hmm.
Got bit by a couple back doors. One outright
Actually, one of your better
loss.
weeks.
Yeah. Either way, not great. I'm at 500.
You
Not
were
great.
so hot too.
Yeah. So the quest to get above 500 is back on. I think it's 23-1 now. So here we go. First game, game 1. Marshall at East Carolina. I'm taking Marshall -4. Next game. It's not a great week again overall, but we'll make it work. Virginia at Miami. I'm taking Miami -19. Tulane at Rice. I'm taking Tulane -10. Purdue at Nebraska, Big Ten. Taking Nebraska -2.5.
I like that.
Cornhuskers, people, by the way, not as bad as they really are, but they're down bad right now offensively.
It was terrible.
Do you know Nebraska only has 3 scholarship wide receivers left, healthy on the roster right now, and 1 walk-on?
Wow.
Not good. They've been banged up bad. And then my last game, Mississippi State at Auburn. Taking Auburn -6.5. Mississippi State won that game against Arkansas 7-3, and Auburn looking to get their first conference win on the year, and I think it happens this weekend. So.
Well, a lot of Power 5 conference bets there.
Yeah, just it's a tough go of it this week overall. There's a lot of really close spreads in the G5. There's actually a lot of close spreads kind of across the board. It's just like none of like the hard hitters are kind of going at each other though this week.
You think Syracuse covers tomorrow?
Oh, geez, I haven't even looked at what that line is, to be honest.
2 or 4 or something like that.
They need to win outright. That's the biggest thing at the end of the day for them. They just need to win. I would hope.
Syracuse underdog.
I would hope. Virginia Tech's not great this year by any means. So
Syracuse is an underdog, by the way.
yeah. So yeah, whatever. All right. Before we get out,
You know, underdogs.
I was gonna say before we get out here, let's talk the World Series before that gets going on Friday. That sees, just as everybody predicted, the Texas Rangers and the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Roll the tape. That's what we said.
Yep. Right after you said New Jersey Devils Stanley Cup title.
Yep.
Yeah, kind of crazy. I mean, I remember sitting in this chair and just kind of dunking on the Diamondbacks for starting Brandon Pfaff like the whole time, and he's arguably been their best starter actually in this playoff run. And look, hot at the right time. But that's what kind of makes baseball the greatest, right? It's just like you just don't know what can happen. This Texas team choked at the end of the regular season, righted the ship in the playoffs. And I don't think it would have been a stretch to say maybe Texas in the World Series, under certain scenarios. But to say the Diamondbacks, who, going into the year, I said was a team that was probably kind of like the Mariners maybe, a best case scenario last year type thing, more than likely a year away from being a year away type deal with them, find themselves in their second ever World Series, and their first obviously since they won in 2001. Kind of crazy to think about. We're staring down the barrel of either a team that's going to win their first World Series or a team that's going to get their second, in only their second appearance in 25 years of existence. It's kind of crazy to think about.
Yeah. Well, that 2001 World Series is a very memorable World Series.
For you, I'm sure.
Yeah. Oh, wow. I did not watch it. I did not even really care about sports back then when I was 6. But
That's what you think.
I'm just really surprised. That's really it. I mean, congrats on Chris Russo on a great career. Here he retired.
Yeah.
Mad Dog. Did he retire today? Anybody know?
He was going to, but I guess he went on Howard Stern this morning and said he was not retiring.
Yeah.
So of course he reneges on a bet.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's not surprising.
Yeah.
But you can't get rid of him.
Yeah, I know people who don't live up to their things. Am I right?
Yeah, very surprising that the Diamondbacks did it. I mean, really surprising. Yeah, I know every road team won in that series, the Rangers-Astros series, but still really tough to do to go into Game 6 and Game 7 on the road and to win both of them for both teams. To do that, to get to the World Series, really impressive stuff. Especially we were talking about first time since 77, 78 that we would have a repeat World Series. That does not happen. Neither one even gets back. And here we are with Texas and Arizona. As much as I want to root for the Cinderella story in Arizona, I'm rooting for Texas because I did watch the 2011 World Series. Which one did they lose to St. Louis? 2011? 2011. And they were twice. They were a pitch away from winning the World Series, and David Freese beat them. So I felt so bad for Texas at the time. Kind of pulling for Texas. It pretty much solidifies Bruce Bochy as arguably one of the greatest managers of all time.
Well, speaking of Bruce Bochy, we have officially confirmation. Bob Melvin, new manager of the Giants.
Really?
Yeah. That just came
He got
through.
fired by the Padres?
No, I think they gave him permission to interview, and they literally just hired him on the spot pretty much, I guess.
He went to a division rival?
Yeah. We always break baseball news somehow on here.
Yes, we do. That is strange. But he's probably, he's Oakland manager for all those years, but he wants to get closer to home. I mean, yeah, it's California. He's rich. He can go travel like it's nothing, but now he's back. Probably where his
I'd imagine if he's doing this, not to get off topic from what we're doing, but imagine if he's taking the job there, that the San Diego deal was probably not as great as we might be thinking of that clubhouse.
Who are the Padres going to get?
They should have never fired Andy Green in the first place. I go back to that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's going to be interesting. Craig Counsell, I guess, is interviewing for the Mets job. I saw that earlier today. But, yeah, I don't know. I mean, we were talking about last night, me and you, Buck Showalter appears to be a front runner in the Angels search. So we'll get the Padres deal. Lloyd McClendon? I don't know. I think Lloyd likes his deal with the Tigers organization right now on a serious end. I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of surprised Girardi's name hasn't surfaced up on any of these at the moment.
I mean, not to say the Padres are going to.
You want to know what's interesting? A name I've heard pop up across a couple different searches is the recently, I guess he's been retired a full year now, but the quote-unquote recently retired Stephen Vogt. His name's popped up a ton.
Huh?
Across a couple different searches. I know his is mainly Cleveland, I guess, but I know the Giants were considering him, apparently.
Dusty?
So, Dusty sounds like he's stepping away, but that one's going to be Joe Espada. So, I don't know. I don't know where the Padres go from here because it was such a win-now move or movement. I don't know. That's just to me. Okay, so that argument in the grand scope of it probably not great, but I do agree. I did see one person tweet this, and I do agree with this position of it. The ratings thing is just a media talking point. People like us, we're going to watch the World Series kind of no matter what, no matter who's in it for the most part type deal. So that part of it doesn't matter. Look, if you want to do that, get hardcore with it. I believe it's the 5th or 6th biggest TV market in the Dallas-Fort Worth area represented, right? And Phoenix isn't completely too far behind. I think they're like 10th or 11th or something like that, maybe even higher. So I think the ratings thing is just a bit of a bigger pull from maybe a grander side of it, but people will be watching.
There's just not.
You know what I mean?
Baseball's top teams. Yeah.
People will be watching. I don't take too much stock into that.
Who's a player to look out for in this World Series?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think people got introduced to guys like Corbin Carroll and Alec Thomas, and justifiably so, right?
Ariel's good too.
Well, I was going to say, well, yeah, but he's been around a while at this point. Toronto, obviously, but I was going to say, it's interesting because the Rangers have a ton of young guys who I think Fox, who handled the AL side and they handled the World Series, really hammering home the Evan Carter thing, and that's great. He is a great young player. He's going to be great for years to come. That they kind of forgot about guys like Josh Young and Jonah Heim and guys like that for them. Even
Austin Hedges.
I was going to say, well, yeah, even to agree, like, I mean, he had a great series. It's funny because he won the ALCS MVP, but you would have thought the way John Schmaltz was talking that Carter got MVP and not Aroldis Garcia.
He's awesome.
So I think, though, if I had to pick one way or another, I'll pick one from each team to keep an eye on. For Texas, I'm going to say probably Jose Leclerc. It's an interesting deal. I know what you're saying, closer relief role. This is a dude he has MLB career, and he's very good. When he's on, he's on. But when he's off, he's off. And so that's going to be something interesting to keep an eye on. Texas actually had the most blown saves in the MLB this year, and that was with Leclerc, and that was with Chapman after he got brought over. So I would say that for them. For Arizona, I'm going to kind of hone in on a pitching thing here a little bit as well. I think Brandon Pfaff, a guy who, like I said, I dunked on him at the start of the playoffs. Can he keep this just really high-level performance going? Obviously, it's a little bit different, right? No guarantee we see either of them in a sense because they're pitchers, but go there. I'll give one position player each way, too, here, just for a minute. Marcus Semien for Texas. I'm going to go with him. Guy who I think has been overshadowed by the way Corey Seager's played all year. Guy who comes out of the gates in literally any type of season very slowly, but gets going, and when he does, he hits a high gear and keeps going. For Arizona, I'm going to go with Gabby Moreno, the catcher. Young kid, was actually, quote-unquote, the one piece that they couldn't continue to fit in Toronto somehow. In retrospect, he looks like the better of the catchers of that trio that they had, and they let him be the one to go. He was in the Dalton Varsho deal this past offseason. So I'm going to go with him. Very good bat. He's actually gotten dinged up a little bit through the postseason, a little bit as well, but I'm going to go with those guys as being some group. I know you asked for one. I didn't give one, but that's the baseball guy in me. So
yeah, I think the key is definitely. I think it's. You know what you're going to get out of Scherzer, even though Gallen and Scherzer haven't been like Gallen and Scherzer this playoffs, but
right.
I think Eovaldi and Merrill Kelly are going to be absolutely huge because I'm assuming they'll probably go at each other in game two.
Definitely, yeah. Yeah, I'd imagine.
That's going to be a huge pitching matchup. I think whoever could be better between Eovaldi and Kelly, I think is going to be the difference. And does Texas stay undefeated on the road?
Right.
I mean, what's the deal there? I mean, they just going to go into Arizona, end the series there, potentially? They can win one at home? I don't know. And what's the deal with early, like, we're going into deep November now, it feels like. For World Series terms, I mean, if you go Game 7, what is it? November what?
4th, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it used to be just like the 1st or 2nd. Now we're going into...
Or no. Whatever that Sunday is there, November 5th? No. 7th, I think. No, I don't. Now I'm getting my dates confused.
There will not be any postponements.
No.
Because both teams have a roof.
Yep. Stay blessed, people.
And they're both pretty warm areas. But
one experiences very little rain anyway.
But if I had to pick who's going to win the series,
here we go.
It was awesome to see 2 Game 7s in a row like that.
Yeah.
I feel like baseball, we've been getting a lot of sweeps lately.
Yeah.
Feels like over the years. I'm going to go Rangers in 6.
Okay. MVP.
Go back home. MVP, I like that pick a lot. Marcus Semien.
Snakes alive. I'm going Diamondbacks in 7. And your
Luis Gonzalez game winner.
And your MVP for the World Series, Corbin Carroll.
Please tell me there's no walk-off home run, though, in Game 7, because that needs to stay.
It wasn't even a walk-off home run anyway, so how about that?
No, I mean, you said it's going to go 7.
Yes.
You think they're going to win on a walk-off home run?
Texas?
No, Arizona. Oh, that's right. It wouldn't be.
Texas is hosting. Yeah.
That's right. It wouldn't be a walk-off home run.
Yep. That's
right. So only Texas can do it.
Yep.
They have a lot of home runs, though. I'm a little nervous. That goes 7. Well, Bill Mazeroski is
It's funny though because the Rangers have the quote unquote, I guess, still modern way of playing. Right, it's a lot of boomer bust baseball, and the Diamondbacks have the still technical old school way of small ball.
Doesn't that blow your mind a little bit? Walk-off home runs seem to happen frequently.
Yeah.
We've only had 2 to ever end a World Series.
Yeah.
Just 2 in the history of all.
And only one is the actual like Game 7 like walk-off style.
Yeah.
So.
And the home team's always the better team. I mean, and it doesn't even have to be. It doesn't even have to be the better team. It could be in the middle of the series. Diamondbacks can win the series on a walk-off home run.
Right.
It's just crazy to me. Like, it's only happened twice. Out of all these World Series in history, it's only happened twice to end it. To end it.
It's baseball, man.
It's crazy.
Yep. So that'll take care of. See, talk baseball. I'm thinking about Concrete Jungle, the baseball podcast. But that'll do it for Fresh Takes. Nick, who are you shouting out?
Happy Halloween.
Oh, okay.
Shout out.
First ever shout out to a holiday.
Shout out to my Knicks. That's not my shout out, but Knicks start tonight.
Evan Fournier specifically.
Yeah, it should be a good one. But happy Halloween. My Uncle Jay's birthday, Jay Murphy's birthday is on Halloween.
Fresh
so.
Ohio resident.
Yeah, his birthday's on Halloween, so.
Happy birthday to Coach.
Yeah, former Clarkson University men's basketball coach and Alfred University men's basketball and women's basketball coach.
Crazy.
Jay Murphy.
Yep.
Shout out.
Shout out. So, for Nick, have fun this week traveling and covering.
Thank you.
Nothing better than championship time around here for sports. And we'll catch everybody back next week. Like, share, subscribe, all the fun stuff. And until next Wednesday, we'll talk to you then. Enjoy the week.